What's up, fellas? I want to talk leg size and strength today. Specifically, 4 quick tips that you can add to your training where if you're showing up and you're squatting, you're doing everything that you're supposed to, you just watch the Tom Platz video, nothing compares to squats, and you're just not getting the size that you're looking for. I've identified 4 things that work really well for me, but also for the people that I work with as well. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I train people as strong or much stronger than myself, both natural and enhanced. My buddy Andrew, for example, 550 ATG front squat PR, has like 30-inch legs. I help both tested and untested powerlifters hit all-time PRs all the time. So I know a thing or two. Not only that, I'm very strong in the squat pattern myself. I just hit 370 for 12 on a safety bar, 400 for 7 on the safety bar, and I'm gonna attempt 500 for a few on the safety bar before I then go into a low bar squat and hit even heavier weights. I know a thing or two. The easiest thing that you can do, first and foremost, is just start pausing more of your squat volume for your quads. What this does is threefold. One, is going to be easier on your knees, healthier. Since you're not bouncing off your meniscus and all that cartilage in your knee that you don't want to injure, because once it's gone, you're going to be able to do more squats for longer. Also, since you're pausing at the bottom and you're not using that stretch reflex, your quads and your adductors are under a bigger stretch for longer. More stretch, more hypertrophy. Also, it's gonna make you stronger out of the hole. For the people that are like, blah, 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 hypertrophy, what about the strength? The big mover mindset. It's the same line of logic as pausing your bench press. It's just gonna make you stronger out of the hole. Now this next one is just gonna be an exercise that I want you to try. Giga heel elevated squats. Now by that I mean between 15 and 20 degrees where you're basically standing on your tippy toes. Tom Platz, the quad father, was famous for being an enjoyer of hopping on a hack squat or a leg press and pressing on his tippy toes. This allows you to do that, which stretches your quads again, gives you more range of motion, a better stretch, but also from a stable position, because as opposed to you standing on your tippy toes, since your heel can press against that nice solid wedge, you're gonna be able to push more weight as well. More weight with a range of motion and form that biases hypertrophy is always gonna be a better thing. It's not exactly the big mover mindset, but if you're able to be more performant and in a hypertrophy exercise, you're gonna be better off for it. The next thing that I want you to do is just make sure that you're looking at your legs from a 3-dimensional aspect. Now that's no gigabrain stuff. It just means that your leg is more than just quads. You can have the biggest, meatiest quads, but if your adductors and your hamstrings are small, your legs are not gonna have the development that they're looking for. So this might be the problem that a lot of you guys, if you address it, it could fix a lot of what you're looking for. Now, first and foremost, you're gonna wanna attack 4 major movement patterns. Obviously, the squat is gonna cover your legs. You use that heel elevated squat as a variation we just talked about to help bias the quads more. And you're also gonna wanna train your adductors directly. That's just gonna be the good girl, bad girl machine for most of you guys, I'm not gonna lie. The third one is just more of something that I just see people not doing a lot, which is crazy to me because this is a time-tested exercise. But just go to war on that hamstring curl machine, bro. You have to train that flexion, that curling. You're just gonna wanna make sure that you're doing them, bro. Go to war on it. RPE 11, leave no reps in the tank. The last and the 4th thing that you're gonna wanna include, just as your meat and potatoes, is a good heavy hip hinge. Specifically one that biases your hamstrings. My favorite is the Romanian deadlift. I'm Mr. Romanian deadlift. I did them almost exclusively for a long time. It just gives them the best stretch out of any, pure hip hinge in my opinion. Good mornings are good. Stiff leg deadlifts are good. I feel Romanian deadlifts are the best. The last one is just gonna be, use a leg machine that is difficult. We can all think of one that we just avoid using, or even a barbell exercise that we avoid doing because we're not strong at it. We throw on a plate and it's difficult for 10 reps. Common culprit for most people, including myself, is the hack squat. 2 plates per side for like a set of 20 for me is difficult. It's very difficult. Find one that you suck at, get better at it. Oftentimes you're not good at it because it exposes a specific weak point that you're just not addressing in your training. All right, fellas, those were our quick tips. Let me know, what are some leg exercises or leg machines that you just avoid doing because they're difficult? I already know for most of y'all, it's gonna be Bulgarian split squats or hack squats. I just know, guys. I know I work with people. I don't like doing those myself because they're difficult. Do it for the difficult and you'll get bigger legs. Let me know if I just predicted your answer as well. That'd be pretty cool if I did that. Now with these Q&As, quick tips aside, I like to transition into a hot take to generate a little bit more discussion. Let me know how y'all feel about this one before I give you my input. Forearms are more important than back size for pull-up strength and row strength. Let me know how you feel about that before I give my input. Now for me, I feel like this is a stinker. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you have Popeye forearms and Johnny Invisible lats, level back development, you are not gonna be strong at pull-ups and you are not gonna be strong at rows. The prime movers in both of those exercises are your back. What can limit you is your grip strength, but that is an independent quality from your forearm strength. That the two are not linked to one another. So you could have Popeye forearms, baby grip, Johnny Invisible lats, and you're gonna have absolutely no strength on the bar with pull-ups or rows. All right, y'all, you know the deal. Let me know how you feel about that one. We're gonna get into the first question. Coach, how much does activity level play into staying lean during a bulk? I feel as though I'm specifically qualified to answer this question just because I'm lean all the time. I feel it plays a huge role in staying lean throughout your bulk. There's a reason why I put on the size that I did and I'm still lean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it was all muscle. Certainly some of it was fat, but a lot less of it was fat than muscle. I think I went from the start of my bulk, I was between 169 and 171, and I'm weighing close to 190, 188, 189 usually. I did a lot of walking. I'm very active throughout the day. Obviously, I talk with my hands. I've always been someone that would just talk with my hands, and I move around a lot. That amounts usually to like between, at a minimum, 10,000 steps and like 12, 13,000 steps a day, including all of this shit that I do all day. That turns what could be like a 600 calorie surplus into like a 200 calorie surplus, which is gonna still give you the benefit of being in a surplus because anything over 0 is gonna give you the muscle building potential. It also gives you the ability to eat more food. Now, what I'll caution y'all with, there's a gift and a curse with everything. I know my body very well. Someone who has less experience may listen to that and take it at face value, eat a 600 calorie surplus, and then do 10,000 steps and not end up gaining any weight ever because you're gonna erase that surplus entirely or get so close to it that it just doesn't, it's barely a surplus, you know what I'm saying? You want to be careful with that. So what I always say is add activity level gradually and see what it does to your body over time. This is over weeks, months, and so on. So add like 5,000 steps, see what that does to your body composition. Do you gain a little slower? Are you still gaining though? Okay, cool, you're good to go. And that's just something that you can continue to tweak over time. That's how I feel about it though, man. I feel as though you should keep your activity levels as high as you can, just for health, but also to be able to eat more. Science-based lifting can help new lifters, even though it has flaws. This one's another opinion someone shared with me that they wanted my input on. I disagree with that completely. I feel as though science-based channels have absolutely no utility for anyone, but especially not someone that doesn't know what they're listening to. So like, if you're a kindergartner, would you sitting in on a rocket science class give you any benefit for learning math? No, it wouldn't. Absolutely not. That's absurd. So the same would apply to training. You looking at these fancy infographics that are giga edited and you're paying more attention to the edits and the flashy colors on the screen, you're not at all digesting what those science studies are trying to tell you, which, they themselves can conflict with one another, which you're not cognizant of because you're looking at, the silhouette man and the fancy colors are moving around. The new lifter that is watching a video like that is not absorbing any of that information. I'm sorry, they're not. What is going to help a new lifter is effort, calories, consistency. You spam those 3 things, you can not nail exercise selection optimally. You can do movements that are just good enough to get the job done, and you're gonna get way more jacked or stronger or whatever you want. Whereas if you're wasting all your time watching infographics all day, listening to different Sammy Sausage Heads on Instagram talk about optimal cable exercises, you're not going to get jacked doing that. There's absolutely no utility there. I can be, you can call me dogmatic there if you want, but that is not, in my eyes, a dogmatic viewpoint. That is a realistic viewpoint from knowing how people are and just seeing this happen in real time. There's a reason why most lifters and most people who consume content on social media, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, they're forever small and they're forever weak. It's because they consume these sources that have absolutely no use for them, period. Instead of just training hard, being consistent. Even like, bro, in terms of the bulking thing, here's the red pill that I'm gonna give you guys. And I hate even using the term red pill. But you could giga bulk and do absolutely everything else wrong and just train hard, and you're gonna get more jacked than some Johnny One Plate watching some reel on Instagram talking about, oh, stretch your lats optimally with this, da da da. It's just my opinion, man. Speaking of giga bulking, this was a great question from my boy Bald Viking. Is permabulking a valid way of getting as strong and jacked as possible? And this is like severely overdoing your bulk. Like, you're far past the point where you're asking me questions. Is it time for me to cut yet? You know, when you look in the mirror, it's time for a cut, and you keep bulking. Is there utility to taking things to that extent? To that I say, you know, if you don't care so much about your health, obviously the way that you look, might even be the way you smell, depending upon what you're eating, you know what I'm saying? You're eating greasy food, you're gonna stink. Yeah, man, like, it'll get you strong for sure. There's lots of examples you can look at, man. Kyriakos Grizzly, he's the strongest marvel of a human being, unironically, that I can think of. The man did like a set of 20 pull-ups, weighing well over 440 pounds. That, to put in perspective, that would be like if I put on, how much do I weigh today? I think I weighed in at 188 this morning. 440 minus 188, that's like 260 pounds added, I think. That's like me busting out a 20-piece pull-ups with 260 pounds on my back. Even if I'm not quite getting over the bar, because I think he was just getting to like his mouth or something like that, that is an absurd level of strength. Just imagine if you stripped the fat off that man, what he would look like. He would look like an absolute marvel of a human being, more so than he does now, just because he would be just completely jacked and ripped out of his mind with huge muscles that we've never seen before. There'd be muscle groups that we just didn't know existed because you'd have to giga bulk and bloat to the level for them to develop. That's the kind of strength and size you're going to develop. I don't think that it's going to be realistic for the average person to want to do, you know, all jokes aside, unless you're willing to sacrifice all those things to get that. Unless you're trying to increase your barbell bench, dumbbell bench is a superior exercise in every way for hypertrophy. What are your thoughts? Well, my thoughts are that this is actually a good take in terms of developing your chest. I was going to say chest and pecs, chest, shoulders, and triceps. There are a lot of fellas, especially, you know, our short-armed kings that are very advantaged at bench press, where they don't get the best hypertrophy stimulus from doing, you know, bench press variations because their range of motion is just very short. If you implement something like a dumbbell bench where you can get that full stretch and bring your arms, you know, past your body almost, you're getting a lot better bang for your buck. It's a lot better of a hypertrophy exercise. Now, if you stop doing barbell bench for the big movers, listen, big movers, I enjoy a good barbell bench. I am the reason why big mover is a term that we're using here. But hear me out. You would do well to add exercises that stretch your muscles better, even if you care about only strength, because you want to develop those prime movers better, don't you? If you have short arms and your range of motion is 4 inches, you use a big arch and it's 2 inches, you have a lot of area of opportunity to develop your upper body size. Now, the Ubermensch lift is Larsen press. That is a good exercise that you can do to add more range of motion to your presses and just make your pecs work harder in general. But if you're looking for range of motion and what I would do if I was trapped on an island and they said, you couldn't leave until you got big meteor pecs, until you put 3 inches on your chest size, you can't leave this island. I would absolutely just do dumbbell bench, bro. Like, even with my longer arms having bigger range of motion than a lot of y'all on bench press, I would do dumbbells just because, 1, it's just gonna be easier on my shoulder joints. 2, it's gonna be a deeper range of motion. And 3, I just wanna look cool while I'm, you know, trying to escape from this island. Dumbbell bench just looks cool. So this is a great take. I actually agree with it. Alrighty, last question. Till next time, guys. Stiff leg deadlifts felt hard. Would putting a heavy deadlift right before them help the stiff leg deadlift feel lighter? This is from BQ. I think we talked about this already, bro, but I'm gonna answer it publicly just so you know, others who may experience something similar can have some food for thought. So we'll talk about the stiff leg deadlifts first, and then we'll talk about how you can apply this same method to other exercises. So the scenario is, I think he did stiff leg deadlifts with like 3 plates and it just felt junky. And he's not used to that because in the past he would do like pause deadlifts and then stiff leg deadlifts, and I think he did 405 for 5 stiff leg deadlifts, which is a heck of a lot more impressive than 3 plates, even for like 10 reps, you know what I mean? I think the key there is what you did before the stiff leg deadlifts, and it's what you proposed in the question. You did that heavy pause deadlift first. Now, how heavy should it be? Because there's someone that's listening like, I don't believe what you're saying. I do deadlifts and it wipes me out for anything else after. That's why you put a weight cap on it, bro. You're not doing the heaviest all-out set of deadlifts that you can do, the heaviest all-out single that you can do. You're doing something that is notably heavier than what you want to work up to on the stiff leg deadlifts. For the GigaBrain people, that means putting an RPE cap and a weight cap on it. For the people who don't give a crap about GigaBrain stuff, that just means you're going to keep a certain amount of reps in reserve for that heavy deadlift, and you're going to cap it at a certain weight, whichever comes first. So, for example, for BQ, he's a strong dude. A nominal deadlift, meaning like a light deadlift single for him, is just going to be like 500 pounds, even less. You know what I mean? It could be 485 if he's doing a pause deadlift. That alone, since it's so much heavier than what you're going to do on stiff leg deadlifts, is going to give you that good post-activation potentiation. That's just a way of saying you move something heavy to move something lighter even quicker and you know, with more force production. That is excellent. That's something that you can implement. That's something that I do myself. Now, how can you apply that to other lifts? Same thing. Let's say, for example, you're doing pause squats. Pause squats feel junky if you open up your workout with them. Well, guys, just do a heavy touch and go single first, pause back down. So that's going to help you out with the tips we talked about at the beginning of the video. Heavy cheek curls can, you know, you do a couple heavy cheek curls, you're swinging like crazy. That's going to help you move more weights on your regular strict curls. You know what I'm saying? You can apply it to anything. The key principle is you do something heavy, but make sure it's not an all-out grinder. It's something that you can do any day of the week. Your girlfriend dumped you, the stock market crashed, you have the sick, whatever the case may be, you can move this weight easily under any circumstances. That's the kind of heavy single or heavy set that you're going to want to do. Right after that, you rest, and then you do your hypertrophy exercise or whatever you're trying to do. It's going to move so much quicker. That's been the Q&A, y'all. I really like this format where we go through the quick tips, we go into the hot takes, and then we go into the Q&A. It just makes it a lot more conversational for me and a lot more fun. Seems like y'all guys like it as well. Let me know what you think down below. If you have any questions about these questions, also please let me know. Any questions for next time, let me know as well here, or on my most recent videos that I post, or on my community posts, so I can see them. I always check my most recent video for comments and things like that. Until next time, y'all, I had a lot of fun. I'll see y'all later.